of the Supreme Court because today we are going to be planting 100,000 flags here. And we do this because about every year in Canada there are about 100,000 abortions. And that means there are 100,000 preborn children who lose their lives to abortion. And each flag is going to represent one. A preborn child who, while as human as you and I, are denied basic human rights just because they're not born yet. But the impact of abortion even goes further than that. Each flag is also going to represent a woman who went through a medically invasive procedure, maybe believing that ending the life of her child would make her better off, or maybe even being coerced there out of fear of losing a relationship or a career or something else important to her. Each flag is also going to represent a father who never got to meet his child. You see, it was here in 1988 that Canada was left with no abortion law, and that's resulted in victims. And while our law has been silent on them, we're here to make sure that those victims are remembered. We're here to remind our institutions, as well as Canadians, that each year 100,000 preborn children lose their lives to abortion. And we're here to continue to advocate for that to change. We're here because we need a law, and we are going to continue to communicate that to our representatives until preborn children here are protected.
Lots of volunteers lined up to set up 100,000 flags here on the lawn, so it's going to be good.
And we're here to portray that these victims are not forgotten by us, and we will not allow our institutions to forget them. And we're going to plant 100,000 flags today. And that's because every single flag represents a preborn child.
So we're all set up here. We have all kinds of volunteers here this morning helping us to set up. It's all set up, and now we're spending the day just talking to people, talking to passers-by about this issue. So what the flags represent is 100,000 abortions that happen in Canada every year. Just trying to let people know that that happens and that Canada has no abortion law.
We are asking Canadians to have that conversation, to ask Parliament to put forward a bill that would protect these preborn children.
Pretty stunning, really. I mean, you know, both in a positive and in a negative sense, right? Like the stunning in the sheer volume, but also stunning in it actually looks beautiful when you look at it. Like it's actually very pretty, which is an interesting thing because what we're talking about here is a very gruesome reality.
It's not pretty. No.
Yeah, exactly. So it's this weird. There's this weird emotional kind of response you get to a display like this. I remember when we did it for the very first time on Parliament Hill, you know, one block over from the Supreme Court here, when we were planting them then, I remember when we were stabbing each of these flags into the ground, like every one represents another preborn child whose life is snuffed out by abortion year after year, after year after year for, you know, at least the last two decades and lesser numbers before that, but still big numbers. The beauty of what you're looking at, the pink and the blue on the lawn with the sun, you know, dappling through the trees and the branches in front of a beautiful piece of architecture here. It's like this raw juxtaposition with the ugly reality of the fact that we don't protect all members of the human family here. So
I was really thinking this is a lot of flags, like 100,000.
Yeah, when we were told it was 100,000, it didn't seem like a whole lot, and like you get here and it's like, oh, that's not too bad, but it's definitely a lot of flags.
So cleanup is finished, and now we're just loading up the boxes into the U-Haul and we're bringing them back to our storage location. So it was a success today. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.